Hello friends! So on this channel I talk about the manga that I'm currently reading, and like things that are being released now, but I thought today I would talk about some of my OG manga loves. So those series that really made me love manga, some of the first manga series that I ever read. I don't remember exactly what the first manga series I read was. It's probably something like Fushigi Yugi or Cardcaptor Sakura. Either one of those is probably one of the first manga that I ever read. A lot of people like really remember this stuff, but I do not. I thought today I would go over the three like early manga that I loved and just like the things that made me fall in love with this whole like genre. I think two of these will be very predictable and one of them you will not predict. So I'll talk about the typical ones. So the first one is going to be, of course, Cardcaptor Sakura. Like, if you've seen the back of my room, which you cannot from here, I mean, so I love Cardcaptor Sakura with my whole being. This started from, I saw the TV show, like Cardcaptor's the original English dub that was like chopped up and like mutilated and everything like that. But it was really fun for me. I loved all of the outfits, I loved the magic, I loved all of the characters. It was just like, it was so good. I loved it so much. Coming from somebody who like loved like Pokemon and Digimon originally, like Cardcaptor Sakura was something completely new, and it was, even though I was a real big like tomboy back in the day when I was a child, I feel like it really spoke to my essence and what I have become. Cardcaptor Sakura, I remember my friend and I both really liked it, and so we would buy the manga together. So she would buy some volumes and I would buy other volumes. I didn't have a ton of money like buy all this manga when I was a kid. My parents didn't really buy a bunch of manga for me. Didn't really do that sort of thing. It wasn't like now where I go and buy like a big manga haul. My parents did not allow me to do that. So we would have a few volumes. I never had the complete series. I had several volumes of it, and then my friend had a few other ones, and I actually started Cardcaptor Sakura from the second half of it. So with the Tokyo Pop special editions, because there was an earlier version, but they released the second half of the series in these Master of the Cloud versions, and these ones I had first. I didn't read the beginning of it until like much later. I think I might have had like one or two of these, and I didn't understand what they were doing with this series. Like, it is kind of confusing because it is only a 12-volume series, but they split it up into two 6-volume ones. It's just one of the many bad decisions that Tokyo Pop has made. Completely enamored with this. Loved it so much. My first cosplay was Sakura from Cardcaptor Sakura. Some of these volumes are my original volumes. Other ones I had to purchase later, but I don't remember what those were or are. I have a picture somewhere of like my original manga collection, and it has those volumes in it. So let's find out which ones I had. So it took me a really long time to find this photo, but my original copies of Cardcaptor Sakura were volume 1 of the original volume 1, the true volume 1. And then I had 1 through 4 of the Master of the Cloud. So these are manga from my original manga collection. Yeah, I have had these 5 volumes of manga for a very long time. Cardcaptor Sakura has always been my eternal love. I really liked Shaoran. I think he was my favorite character, and always with the Sakura Shaoran romance, my favorite OTP forever. A lot of stuff with Cardcaptor Sakura that I did not pick up on until much later in life. That is because of the only exposure I had to the anime for the longest time was the original TV release on like Kids WB, and then of course the manga, which I didn't pick up a lot of things on, I think because I was kind of reading it in a fragmented sort of way. So it wasn't until like really way later when I watched like it in Japanese for the very first time, like probably somewhere around college. Yeah, probably until like college, where I was able to see the whole like original show in Japanese with like good subtitles. I learned a lot about Cardcaptor Sakura at that point, a lot of stuff that I did not pick up from the original manga. I love it so much. I could talk about Cardcaptor Sakura all day. This was my first like manga love. Then we're gonna go into something that is a little more in line of what I am reading right now, and that is gonna be Hanakimi, or Hanazakari no Kimitachi. In like junior, senior year of high school, this manga was everything. Me and my friends were obsessed with this manga, and we also did that thing where some of us would buy, well actually my friends were collecting the series on their own, and I was very slowly collecting it. As I mentioned before, manga was not something that I purchased a lot as a child. I would borrow it from friends a lot, and that's what I did with most of Hanakimi. I think I had the first few volumes, probably until like volume 5 or so. The rest of the series I would just borrow from my friend, and we would read it in the middle of history and chemistry class, which was not good. Don't read manga in the middle of class. Actually pay attention in your classes, kids. This, I think, was the first like high school shoujo romance that I loved, or really that I read. A lot of the stuff that I read was more shonen stuff. I think Cardcaptor Sakura was one of the only like real shoujo manga that I read. I read a lot of Shonen Jump when I was a child. I had the subscription to the magazine. So there was a lot of Naruto, there was a lot of Bleach, and a lot of One Piece. This was probably one of the first like real shoujo romances that I can remember being like obsessed with. Hanakimi, if you don't know, is about a girl who basically enters into an all-boys high school so that she can meet this guy Sano, who she really admires. He's a high jumper, and he's stopped high jumping, and it's like her mission to get him to jump again. There are things about this series that did not age very well. Some of the comedy in here is not great, and I recognize that, but I still really, really love this manga, despite its flaws. I loved the romance in it. All of the characters are really great. Nakatsu is like my favorite boy, and I feel like he cemented my like love of the second love interest that has no chance whatsoever. But I loved him so much. I remember my friends could not find like volume 9 of this series or something, and I got one of them like volume 10 for their birthday, and they were like, oh my god, this is volume 9, and I was like, no, I just got you the other one because I couldn't find it. So it had a lot of like the spirit of like kind of what's going on right now. It's like, oh, I can't find this volume, I really want to read it, but at that point, like, we didn't have online shopping like we do now. I feel like to buy manga online was like, I don't even think that was like a thing, because I am old. Just talking about this series with my friends was so much fun, and I adore all of these characters. I adore the story. It's so lovely despite its kind of flaws. Hanakimi was like, will forever live in my heart as one of my favorites because it's like the first real high school shoujo romance that I really was obsessed with and loved. So you could say that Hanakimi is the basis for the type of manga reader I am now. And lastly, this is the one that might shock you. Just if you know what I read, all of what I read now and what I talk about now in terms of manga, this is gonna be very different. And it's gonna be The Prince of Tennis. Wow, weird, right? Me, whose shelf is all pretty much shoujo romance, and picking up The Prince of Tennis. I was obsessed with The Prince of Tennis. So I found out about The Prince of Tennis from this website that I used to visit all of the time, lilola.net. Do you remember lilola.net? Am I the only one who knows about this website? But I was obsessed with that website, and the like person who ran it, they were really into The Prince of Tennis, so I checked it out and I fell in love. It's a bunch of cute boys playing tennis. It's ridiculous. There are musicals which really sucked me in. Prince of Tennis is like one of my like all-time favorite loves. Remember when I went to Japan and I was like talking with some of the Japanese students, and I mentioned that I like anime and manga, and they were like, oh, what's your favorite manga? And I said Tennis no Oji-sama, or The Prince of Tennis, and they were like, oh, kakoi. They were like, oh, that's so cool. It's a sports manga. It is ridiculous. Like, it's not like Haikyuu where it's all like realistic and there's like bonds between friends and like strong friendships and team bonding and stuff like that. It's not like that. The Prince of Tennis is very much an older sports type of Shonen Jump manga, and they all have like overpowered moves and just like ridiculous imagery for these moves. It's a trip. But it has a really great like cast of characters. All of the different rival teams are really, really cool. And of course, all of the like Seigaku members were really cool too. My personal favorite was Eiji. He was kind of like the acrobatic, like happy-go-lucky type of guy. The thing that I love about Prince of Tennis, not only just having like really great memories of like reading this manga and just, you know, being obsessed with it, is that the Prince of Tennis really gave me my first fandom. Because I'd been part of fandoms before, I've been part of like Harry Potter fandoms, but those were so big that it was hard to feel like you were part of something. I kind of just, with Harry Potter, I always felt like I'm just like reading stuff. I never really met anybody through it, and just like kind of finding out information, you know, reading fan fiction and stuff like that. It was just kind of very individual experience, but with the Prince of Tennis, I joined a fandom and I made friends in this fandom. Friends that I met through the Prince of Tennis, I literally still have now. Like, I talk to them all of the time. We don't live super close together, but like we go to anime conventions together all the time, and we're like good friends, and we have been for like probably 2 decades now. I joined a bunch of library journal communities. I participated in community like fanfic writing things. I drew stupid comics. When I really got into the like live action musicals, which are insane. That was really fun. I did a lot of cosplay. I remember my friends and I made like a Hyote cosplay group, and I was Jiro and did a very bad job on it. But like you could not tell I was Jiro at all. Like, it was not good. But like we went to like Otakon, and there was like a big Tenipuri meetup, and we were all Hyote, and we just started doing like the chant from the musical, from the Hyote Mew. That's like Katsu wa Hyote, makeru no seigak. Yeah, that was really fun. Just chanting that in the middle of the fountains area. At the old Baltimore Convention Center. That was really great. I had so much fun with the Prince of Tennis fandom. Honestly, I have not finished the Prince of Tennis. I only have volumes up to volume 17. I watched a lot of it. I watched some of the end stuff. It was very hard to watch anime when I was younger, okay? Like, you new anime fans, you don't know the struggle. I have never finished the anime. I've seen some stuff like later in the anime. I don't know if it's anything that I really want to finish. I don't know. I feel like my Tenipuri phase is like coming back. I don't know. It feels like it's creeping up. I think it's mostly because there's this like 3D animation, like insane like movie coming out that I'm probably gonna go see. I think that's what's bringing back like my Tenipuri phase, and I might finish the anime just for the lulz. Prince of Tennis, while it is not really my taste anymore, I will forever love, because it is what gave me so much joy and so much fun with cosplay. The first thing I ever sewed, like I made a Seigaku jacket. That's the first thing I ever sewed, was from Prince of Tennis. Like, the first piece of clothing was a Seigaku jacket that I wore to school and probably should not have. I was very weird. I love the Prince of Tennis so much. I think I just made this video just to talk about the Prince of Tennis, because literally nothing else I will do. I will talk about the Prince of Tennis. Those are like my nostalgic, like very important manga. For Hanakimi, I have volumes 1 through 11, I think, and I really want to get the rest of them. I want the singles, I don't want the omnibuses, but yeah. And then Prince of Tennis, I have volumes 1 through 17, except I don't have volume 2. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I ever got volume 2 or I lost it at some point, but volume 2 is just missing from my collection, and it's very annoying, so I might try to find that at some point. Yeah, these are my nostalgic, like, very important manga to me. They kind of make up who I am today. You know, we got our, like, essence, our Cardcaptor Sakura, we got our manga reading taste set in forever, and then we got our first fandom journey. Let me know in the comments, like, kind of what your really important manga, your kind of manga basis, the manga that make up who you are today. Let me know those in the comments. I would be interested to know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more manga goodness from me. I mostly talk about shoujo manga. That is all I've got for you guys today. I'm Chrissy Lou. Until next time, matane!